All right, welcome back everyone to DPL. We have got the final lower league match of the night. I believe it is Boxy between YY versus LCG, and you did
No.
actually hear me talk about that earlier on Hot Mic about that too. Funny enough, there are a couple games happening off stream as well, but this one we're actually commentating over. So Matt, how you doing today, man?
Well, I mean, I'm doing well. I was doing well until I just heard you say everything that was just wrong there. This is the lower bracket playoff match for the upper league. So yesterday we
Oh,
started
to
the
get into the
playoffs.
upper league. All
Yeah.
right,
No, no,
gotcha,
no, no.
gotcha.
This is the upper league playoffs. So, oh my God, bro,
Ah,
you're away for like a day and you already
and I
miss
just
out on
get all the
everything.
info
Okay.
wrong. Yeah.
So upper league playoffs. Okay, let me
All
break it
right.
down for you. Upper league playoffs. 4 teams
Yep.
qualified. So everyone but Rise and Gnomes, they made it to. Yesterday, we already saw Bingus play Yakuza, and we saw Global Breakout play LCG. And
Yep.
we're watching the losers of yesterday's matches. Those are LCG and Yakuza. We are watching them play for the third spot, third and fourth, respectively, in the upper league. And the winners match, well, Bingus technically had to forfeit. I'm not sure if there's an official ruling on it. It may be rescheduled, but Bingus may just need to forfeit due to the lack of the players because the match is supposed to be played out about 4 hours ago now. So that's pretty much it. We're queued. I corrected you there, I feel like, and we can get into the game.
Do I not have any of the players added?
Of course you do. It's Yakuza. We play with them.
I don't see them in my bar though. I don't see a comp game being queued. Am I crazy? Do they have like people like newer people in right now that I don't have
It's like
added?
Tommy's there, and Ghetto's there, and Roach is there. You have Roach from Prod. Just refresh your game. I don't know. I
D-
think you're.
Do I have to go restart my whole game maybe?
I don't
Well,
know.
we might not
That
have a
way.
secondary map obs then if that is true. Yeah, I guess so. All right. Well,
Mhm.
restart game time. Okay.
Bro, VMix doesn't love you. Do Process doesn't love you. Prod really hasn't been going well
Yeah.
for you in the past few days, has
They
it?
are they are literally preying on my downfall.
Oh well.
Let's hope I don't have
It
to
is what.
make a new virtual cam link for EK either because that would suck.
Well, there you go. We're finally in the game. Okay. VC Store up first. We have LCG on defense and Yakuza on attack. And Fel, you weren't here yesterday. By the way, congrats on your Rainbow Six Challenger League relegations cast. That was huge. I was listening to it while casting DPL. Don't tell anyone. Um it was very, very nice to listen to. But yeah, to kind of give you a breakdown yesterday was a 2-0 for Bingus against Yakuza. Yakuza, they showed some signs of life, but Bingus were just on another level, let's be honest. The banger of the day, though, was the first match. It was the one that I casted with Rev. And it was LCG somehow just kicking back, and really they gave GB a run for their money. We tallied the rounds up totally. I think it was 19 for GB, 13 for LCG in the end. And I don't think we ever expected to say this. I don't think we ever expected to say LCG won almost as many rounds as GB did. So LCG today, they're the ones to look out for. But what are your predictions?
Well, I think it'll be a relatively close game between YY and also LCG. We have seen LCG get much better and even giving GB a hard time, although they did have a couple subs. So that is something to mention briefly, but they were still doing very good. I feel like it'll be most likely like a 7-5. Overtime is definitely a big possibility. It just depends on how much we're going to see thrown away by either team, whether it be over positioning or potentially just not being in a good spot. Maybe someone forgets to watch the flank, for example. Just little issues that you should have being checked off of. But hey, look at this. It's instant aggression here for the offensive side of YY as Ghetto's got the DL and already gets the first opening picks. And now that's basically the entire left half of the map in your pocket as you only need to deal with the freezer and fridge's presence. This is a fantastic spot to be in here for YY as there's only a couple of key points they need to actually clear out in the map as we still have LCG just trying to work their way a little bit lower, maybe adding more pressure into Freezer. They can't rotate into Arcade. They actually mod themselves over as they still want to hold Freezer directly. So it's just only a matter of time before we have YY just use these last couple of flashes and try to enter inside of Freezer and get this job done. There we have it. Admiral Crunchberry will fall. Now it's only Kuko and Lando left in the back of Fridges. Kuko will now fall, leaving just Lando. 1 versus 4, and he gets pushed by
Okay, well, I'm still here in case you all forgot, because fellow Did take his sweet time there. But yeah, pretty decisive round for Yakuza. The one thing that I wanted to mention is that they are playing with a sub. Flogel's not here, and he's the captain. I think also IGL, but I'm not 100% in that one. And it's Roach playing in his place today. So Yakuza today, they are playing with a sub. I think they're a little bit of a wild card here. I do hope we see LCG's success yesterday replicated, or at least the level of play that they were at. But yeah, your thoughts on round one?
Well, I mean, it was just overall pretty solid aggression by YY. Nothing really much to complain about that. They got instant control of Teller, and they basically cut off any pressure that LCG could have applied from Freezer, the back of Fridges. So it was just only a matter of time before they ended up clearing out those parts of the map as well. It was just a solid job done by YY, especially by Ghetto, just finding those first two opening picks and really doing a lot for his team.
Yep, next one. Yep, it's Factory, and well, thank God it's not Donut Factory because Rev and I, we had to cast that yesterday, and it was pretty painful. We made a lot of jokes about it. It's a pretty normal one though, called Operation Forge Rook. It does have some toxic, but it's not the entire map being covered by toxic. So, well, I guess at least there's that. There's a Fen, and there's a toxic red door. So both of those positions are kind of unfavorable for a breach. So I would either expect a green push, in a solely green push, or maybe coupled with a dog blow. It does look though like at least LCG on the defense is expecting a Fen push there. But with how the red doors and toxic are, how you can just kind of barb off these walkways and just have so much control there, and how you can force attackers to funnel, and with how Fen is just hard to push most of the time, I do feel like either a green or a green dog push is in place here.
Well, we'll have to wait and see how exactly the offensive YY want to push this. Yeah, it does seem like they are opting to go for fan and then probably also just going into serve farm as well, which isn't bad. They don't need to necessarily worry about toxic all that much. Probably just having to deal with office, but I believe you could just have a couple of proxy angles held on the top of pipes because you're clearing out fan. So it's not that big of a concern so long as there aren't a lot of mollies on the board for the defensive LCG, which looks to be the case. They only have two to hold off any bomb pressure. So overall, this is not a bad idea for YY whatsoever.
Oh, I definitely do want to see how this works out. I'm not the biggest fan of the Fen pushes personally. I do think they're usually pretty lackluster, but I guess on this map specifically, it could end up working out. You get quite a few nice angles all across the map here. So, well, might as well.
Well, so far things are looking pretty straightforward. I mean, it's literally like the first 10 seconds. I was actually caught giving the friend code to Roach to actually spectate the damn game. So that was a pretty rough time, but I had to deal with random tech issues the whole time. Yesterday's match I had to cast, so it's all good. Looks like we've got YY only having to wait for a few seconds. That Molly was nowhere close to the green door, so they'll still get full entry of server farm, and they get the first pick as well already. Tons of pressure established in the pipe works. The smoke goes off, pardon, that way they can just walk right on through fan. And once again, it's just a strong start for YY.
Toxic gonna be swinging from behind the forklift with the Lagros, but gets taken out by Jet on the Saber, I believe. Yeah, there we go. Jet is our sniper today. The conveyors are being pushed. Kuko does find one, make that two instead, and now Jet and Roach are pushing the same exact angle, but Lando and Kuko, they show no signs of slowing down. Both Ingmars in hand, and Kuko finally falls. Lando there has to put in work. It is a 2v1, and Roach does have a Black Tar, which is not the best weapon, at least not in my opinion. But, well, it does hit kind of hard, and if the defenders of LCG give them separate 1v1s, I think Roach this will take them. 55 seconds left, no utility in Roach's pockets, but there are 4 of his teammates' bodies right next to him, so he could potentially pick up any frag smokes or flashbangs that may just be laying there, and let's see if he can put them to good use. The defenders, though, one still playing behind conveyors, very sneaky, 40 HP, so not a lot. You get taken out quite fast. The other one with the AK up in office, and no full HP. Lendo first, kill. Already missing a few shots, but finally Lendo finishes with the gap. And round 2 goes to LCG.
I think the main thing to point out there was I honestly don't even know because I'm still trying to work on this damn friend code.
Oh,
I love how Prod is just always trolling me somehow. You love to see it.
I think you're the problem at this point. I don't know. It's you do
Yeah,
R6
maybe.
prod problems, you do DPL prod problems. It's just not going well for you, is it? I think the biggest
No,
problem
that's
there
not.
was the Yakuza funnel because we did see 4 out of the 5 people they died in the exact same spot. They were, you know, so close to one another. And when you lose people so early, and not even so early, but so close together, you can't help but think that there was either a lack of utility or just plain funneling or something, or lack of comms even. Great conveyors hold by, I think it was Lando and Kuko, if I'm not mistaken. They've chipped off so much damage from the attackers. They held their own for such a long time, and Kuko ended up falling, but didn't matter at that point. He'd already done so much damage. On to Kildom, though. It's Operation Helios Horn, and it's one of these weird kill domes here. Um, are you back in the game, by the way, fellow, or am I just
I'm not in the game. I mean, I can look at it through Discord, so that's
yeah,
fine.
okay. Well,
Um,
I'm not a fan
the
of I'm not a fan of this one. I don't know.
it's a very weird one to actually attack on this set for Kildome, especially since it's more or less just, well, I've got my cam link working on the the bottom right. That's funny. Um, Main thing to worry about probably is if you wanna clear through obs, you kinda have to go through a light funnel, but if you can have, like, a multiple push from both pit and obs, it's not as bad. You clear out bridges, and then it's just like that pincer attack, basically, but it does cost a lot to efficiently go through all of beach, then base, then all of pit and obs. It just takes so much time that if we have YY get a little carried away in one specific part of the map, they might end up just be short on time to go for really an efficient clear once they actually get into jungle.
Look at this scribbles across the map, especially from defense. That is, well, luckily it gets deleted when the action phase starts, but that is so very distracting. It'll be so hard to cast with all of that on our screens. Does look like it is going to be a pit blow, probably a lights play as well. And well, we do have Admiral on the Saber holding obs there, or not obs, rather top jungle, excuse me. But
I
it's
got that
still
too.
pretty hard to hold that, honestly. At some point, you will need to fall back as a defender. Toxic playing is live, though. Very aggro. Will he find one? Nope, not just yet. Full flash now. We're getting out of there, but Admiral comes dead. He helps out. He gets the first one quickly. Toxic still needs to find at least a kill to justify his push there. Steadily falls to jet shots. Lights pulled now. Lando backs off. Gets full bang for the door just a little bit, but he's still alive and kicking, at least for now.
Strong late bar by Lando as well. Now they can actually utilize both those mollies. The only thing to be concerned about is that Lin has to make the decision of whether he wants to go in molly or keep holding that angle with the mop. If I were him, I'd probably be the first one to mop, maybe give Lando some time to fall back, then he could play in water, go for that secondary molly, and that'd be a great way to have the anti-flash along with not really giving a lot of map control. But speaking of control, we've got obs now in the pocket of YY as Kuko is heavily isolated, and now almost everybody but Roach is rotating around inside of obs to maybe better pressure this player of Lind, who currently has to look through the backside and misses another shot. That should give some time to move forward as Lind's currently reloading. They flush out Lando with a well-tossed flash. Roche will go wide, but he does not spot out Lando just yet. They are so close to one another, and finally, Roach will now fall by the hands of Lando, but it's only him left alive in the 1 versus 3 with the bomb going down, or pardon, diffuser going down, I should say. He's got a molly, but just doesn't know what to do against this multiple crossfire, and there we have it. YY, they take their second round because that strong rotate into obs and the heavy isolation of both Kuko and Lin.
He cast too many games. There's a bomb going down, there's the future going down, there's the spike going down. It's so confusing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. As Ikaza likes to say,
The
I don't
funny
think
part
you'll
is
hurt
the
him.
Discord audio is there too, so we can hear EK as well saying that. That's like the best part.
Uh-huh. He should unmute and say it for the stream as well, I think.
Well, no. He said it. You could hear it because it captures our Discord audio through
Oh,
for the thing.
no.
What?
No, he's muted. He's muted in Discord. It doesn't cap
Damn.
him. Yeah. No. You're wrong. They didn't
Lame.
hear him. He is
Yeah.
lame. Okay. There we go. He said it. I think that was live. Hopefully. Okay.
Nice.
Well, regardless, it's Yakuza on defense. They got 2 attacking rounds early on. That's pretty good. Honestly, if you ask me, I feel like defense most of the time in this game is still easier to hold, especially for teams that may, not be 100% on the same page where their coordination isn't 100%. So, I do want to see if they can get a few more rounds in. I do think the first half could end in 4-2. But also LCG, again, I'm still waiting for them to really start. I love comparing them to an old car because it takes so long to get started. But if they can actually get started, I do think they can give Yakuza a run for their money. And I do think at least game one could be relatively close.
So if you had someone going through red door, this can be quite a funny wall bang, especially if you have barb like right here, for example. That way it doesn't get clipped when you try to go for that red breach. But this is a very heavy funnel breach. I have done this before, and it more or less comes down to how effective like the storefront pressure is, or how like adaptive that bathroom player is. Because if he hears this red door go off, he should try to maybe get more aggressive. He has some team play in storefront, but we have not had that be a problem as of late when I've gone for this play. So going this red door is not horrible depending on the coordination of your opponents, but normally you just see a shutter play when you go on this storefront because you have these incredibly long angles to play off of, and it's just too annoying to deal with unless you have a good mop player that can just win that gunfight against the Saber, which is pretty challenging unless you hit that headshot.
Absolutely agree. Toxic on the shotgun. Then we have the Saber coming out from Admiral Crunchberry and the rest of attack on the APs. On defense, we have both Nax, one on Tommy, one on Chrome, Jet on the Sniper, Auto Shotty on Roach, and Ghetto on the short AK. I specifically want to see how Roach does on the Auto Shotty. From what I've seen on Roach, I haven't really seen him play Auto Shotty, and I guess he's just feeling for Floggle today. But still, the fact that Chrome isn't on Auto Shotty, or maybe even Tommy or Ghetto on the Auto Shotty, I don't know if that's something Roach wanted to play, or we're just like, hey, we need an auto shot during the last one live, let's pick it. I'm not sure how confident Roach is in these super weapons, so let's see how that goes. Storefront Breach does come out though, and Chrome Trigger is playing dangerously close to those red doors. Luckily though, doesn't seem like they're gonna get blown anytime soon or at all, because there's no door charges on the attacking side. But a few wallbangs for Kuko still coming out, and Chrome isn't careful, he could lose a lot of HP there. Utility coming out, so are Jet's mob shots. He's gonna retreat back into fridges now to reload. Most of LCG's already pushed deep into storefront, and they're just trying to get an opening there.
Oh, there it is. Toxic gets rid of Chrome Trigger, and Ghetto, completely blinded, will get shut down by Kuko. Lights control in the pocket of the offense, and they got those first two opening picks. Jet can still do plenty of damage, though, leading into storefront until someone begins to push him out from Freezer, which is what the offense is trying to set up. They don't have a flash, but they've got the bodies to deal with it, and now that leaves only Roach and Tommy left to stand, with Roach by himself inside of Teller, and Tommy having to go for some sort of hero play. Lind will pick up the mop, having plenty of ammo to work with that. Tommy lands a nice wall bang, and Roach will respond as well with the LS out of all guns, leaving this in a fairly winnable position as Tommy finds yet another. Roach explodes with the kill on the LS once again, leaving just Admiral Crunchberry. Out of nowhere, we've had things turn into a 2 versus 1, but the only issue for YY is the fact that both Roach and Tommy are currently one-shot. Roach will get punished by Admiral. Now it's only Tommy left. He has a molly and time on his side. One well-tossed molly could honestly finish out Admiral's days, but he's got to act fast. 69% on the bomb. Nice, but that kill is going to be so favorable for Admiral. Tommy will fall as well, and it looks like things will be evened up once again, with Admiral barely surviving that engagement.
And LCG started off that round so very nice, very cleanly. They got the 3 entry picks onto Chrome, Ghetto, and then Jet. And then somehow Tommy, Roach, they both exploded, got 2 of their own. Tommy 2 on the Knack, Roach, I think both on the LS, definitely one that we've seen. And somehow, someway, it was the most winnable round ever, but then Roach swung first with the auto a little bit too confidently. And yes, Admiral did have 7 HP left, but again, Roach was low before that, and Tommy, he was also on 10 HP, so whoever hit the first shot, doesn't matter if it's a pistol, a shotgun, a KR shot, whatever, whoever got hit with the first shot would have died. And, well, you are right. Tommy did have the molly, he did have the time on his side, but at the same time, he was so low and he had to push the bomb that was being pressured. So I'm not sure. I'm disappointed there. Good for LCG, they got the round they really shouldn't have, but at the same time, I'm more than disappointed in Yakuza. And I do hope that they can make up for it on this factory hold here.
That is the one issue, though, with losing that last round, is you don't have mop for factory, and you don't have the auto. It's not always great on factory, but sometimes you can go for some pretty funny plays, perhaps, if you want to maybe hold office rather aggressively, or you know they're not going to breach toxic, and you think they don't want to just fully clear out the backup pipe. You could play maybe here, for example, and catch somebody off guard. But besides that, it's a very tricky gun to utilize. What isn't hard to use on factory, though, like I said, is that mop. And now having that sniper advantage heavily favor the offense because Admiral has a saber and really nothing but Ingmars and big AKs to contest. It is going to relieve a lot of pressure early on for the offense and potentially give them an early advantage just because if they play range, they could maybe work a pick pretty feasible and make it that 5v4 earlier than expected.
Yeah, absolutely agree. It does look like both teams just kind of like a server and a server and a fan push here. And well, once again, toxic is just such a funnily push that it makes a lot of sense why no one's going there. But at the same time, I'm slightly disappointed we aren't seeing any dog pushes. I guess it makes sense because the first map was C store, and I think both teams actually use their wall charge on C store shutters. But at the same time, still, I know I go on about this a lot, but I love dog play. I feel like it's very underrated and underutilized in most of this game. And yeah, it can be risky, but also the rewards you can get out of it, especially if you play your saber player there very far away, just play the long angles, I think outweigh the risk most of the time. That's like most of the players are going to be coming from server farm. That's Toxic, Lind, and Admiral. No, they're just okay, they're just going around. So they all went around, they're all meeting at Fen. Interesting choice.
Maybe not having a direct push into server just yet, more of a late push. Either that or a full-fledged rush into Pipeworks, which doesn't sound bad on paper, but it looks like YY is actually prepared for that, having only Ghetto watching server directly. A lot more people are stacked in the back of conveyors, one in dock, and also Roach standing near offices. There goes the smoke, but it actually ricochets off, so it's not going to really help them enter Pipeworks. This is not going to have any trouble with that whatsoever, and they even find the player isolated in the back of dock, so a good pick still for LCG, and it doesn't look like they're going to try to go to server farm whatsoever, which could allow maybe Ghetto to find something, but no, that doesn't happen. The Saver also catches Roach in a bad spot too, trying to fall back from offices. Tommy will now die as well, leaving just Jet to stand 1 versus 5, and they're not in a good spot to deny the bomb from being defused unless he gets aggressive inside of office, and even then, it's still a 5 versus 1 position, and they know there's only one good spot for him to push. That's the top of office, so he'll meet the exact same fate that his teammates just did, and it's a flawless round for LCG.
Yeah, I mean, this round right here, I think, was the level that LCG was playing at yesterday, and I was hoping that they would reach it again. I do hope they maintain it, because, well, let's be honest, one good round doesn't mean nothing, but it is the first round won by LCG so far, so I guess at least there is that. And, I don't know, Yakuza, it's all on them now. Again, they're playing with Roach instead of Flogel, which I do assume is hurting them, not because Roach would be a bad player, but because it's not their starting 5. But at the same time, LCG on paper are still the underdogs, if you ask me. If for anyone that knows any history between like the teams, everyone knows that Yakuza has been the stronger EU team recently. But I don't know, LCG this DPL season, they've been doing really, really well compared to what we expected of them.
I would have to agree. And again, I did say it would be close. We've seen much more improvement by LCG over the past couple of play days, even against like the best teams in the upper league. And they're really making a muck out of YY so far. They understood that maybe pushing green would be a little too time ineffective. So they just wanted to get pressure on a fan, just kind of rush into pipe work, which wasn't a horrible idea. And it did work. I think it's the biggest thing. They were able to pick 1-for-1 gunfights and just play the range game because they knew there was no mop on the board. All they had to do was just sit in the back of the map and just find picks, which is exactly what happened. And then it was only a matter of time before they ended up finishing out the round with very colorful strides. Heading into Kill Dome, though, I think they still have a great advantage. Maybe wanting to focus less on pit and more on obs could be a pretty good idea because again, no full auto, so you don't have to worry about stuff like this happening for an anti-flash play, for example. And you have this long angle to pressure bridge once you get this control. So I think for the idea of LCG, they might have someone late rotate pit to pressure bridge and have everyone else just bombard obs from this area of beach.
We'll definitely see what ends up happening here. I do think that Yakuza, they do have a slightly higher chance of defending this specific tile set compared to how LCG held it. But, you know, either way, LCG, they're off to a good start. I think still, most people, they expected Yakuza to win relatively easily. And LCG, they either lose this round and they go into the second half with a 3-3 scoreline, which is good, or they go into the second half with a 4-2 scoreline in their favor, which is great. Either way, I don't think LCG can lose this half. They're doing much better than expected, and like I said, I really do hope they can keep it up.
Well, so far it looks like we are going to have that emphasis on beach, but from the looks of it, we might have someone actually try to get pick control first and then a late charge into red in like the back of this rock slash like jungle area, kind of close to this ruins part of the map, which isn't bad actually, because then you don't have to directly clear out obs. You can just have somebody watch. Accidentally clicking on Tommy. My bad. You can have this angle being watched, which is not
Mhm.
horrible. You just have to have somebody proactively watching that, and maybe somebody on base as well, so no rotate can happen. But besides that, that really is not a horrible option. Maybe the only thing to note is that it is just Lando by himself, and he doesn't even have a flash grenade. But besides that, the base pressure is still solid. That can allow them to go into pit and obs if they want to. So it's just only a matter of who's going to make that first initial charge for LCG to see what exactly happens in this round, Oxy.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Lando was going to go for the late reach always, but he did get spotted through the window, so I guess that was the only choice. Kuko will get the entry onto Jet, however, so it is a 5v4 for LCG. Toxic and Lando, they're both low on HP. Lin follows suit very closely, but Lin, speaking of him, he gets a second when Ghetto falls as well. And now, again, Yakuza are just at a huge numbers deficit. Most of LCG, they're establishing the base and the pit control. They could potentially... Actually, they already have pulled lights, excuse me. The map view pulls one on me once again. Lando on the other side of the map, he's just chilling alone, but he has Chrome Trigger looking at him. Tommy to help should he need to. I do like the fact that Yakuza are just kind of splitting right now. They still need to be aware of Lando. They can just divert all of their attention to the main push coming out from pit. And speaking of the pit from pushes, get shut down at least to some extent, because Lando falls, Toxic follows suit, and Kuko, well, he also gets shut down by Tommy. Lin will stop the bleeding, but it is a 2v2 now. Both defenders are playing bottom jungle, close to the bomb, and Crow out Molly that will catch out Admiral in the bad position. Admiral now very low, Lin even lower, but it is a 1v2. Can Chrome get this one, fellow?
Oh, definitely a high chance of that happening. Both players are so low, and yep, looks like Chrome can end out the round quite well. I think the big problem here was, yeah, having little to nothing taking care of observation at all. Lando had a really nice idea of just sitting back outside and watching this long angle, but a molly forced him back and then allowed the rotate to still happen, leading back into jungle, and then all you had was a funnel essentially leading into bridge, and we saw 3 different crossfires established by the defense of YY there. So it didn't matter that we had such a strong push leading into pit, because all they could do is push through a singular doorway and still have to worry about mollies, because that cutoff angle wasn't successful by Lando because of a singular molly.
Yeah, I did say I did think Yakuza would defend that one, and let's say we look at the stats because EK is showing that us them I guess. We are in the first half, and we have Ghetto and Chrome and Tommy. They're all within 23 damage. Jet following closely. On LCG, Kuko is up by quite a little bit. That it's Lando, Lin, Toxic, and Admiral in that order. So Yakuza, they're super close in the damage distribution. LCG also isn't too hard carried damage-wise by Kuko, but this is the second day in a row where Kuko is just performing out of his mind, and I really do hope that he can keep it up, because yesterday he was a pleasure to watch. Let's focus on the kill house, though. What do you think about this one?
So this is a play a lot of people like to go for, especially when Kill House is the first round in play. You just want to go for a quick double charge, instant bomb pressure. That sounds good on paper. One thing you got to worry about, though, is the exact same sightline that the attackers are actually drawing out is just someone sitting in the back of kitchen. They can easily throw out a molly from here, and that's your one point of entry completely stopped. And if they hear this door charge go off, they can just wall bang this, too, if they have a knack or a really strong gun. And that's somebody dead off the bat, unless you can quickly move around like this, for example, and then maybe try to wall this instead, which could maybe catch somebody off guard. But it's just a very high utility kind of idea, and it doesn't really reap a lot of rewards unless you're just able to find like 2 instant picks off of it. But again, still incredibly risky, and yeah, it looks like we might have Ghetto try to go for this wallbang play next to kitchen. They already have it like exclamation point, so or explanation pointed, I guess that's what how you should say it. So if he hears that go off, he could potentially wallbang it, which is going to be really challenging for LCG.
Well, see what they end up going for. We do have Ghetto playing with the knack very close on the bomb. That's closer than I would have expected him to go, but I guess he's just going for those red wall bangs should they come out. And well, that's a pretty smart way to wall bang if you wall bang from the top instead, because it's started like to die. Speaking of Ghetto, he does get the entry onto Lin. Toxic also makes it in alive, but he's barely. He also has a shotgun, which means taking those gunfights will be even harder for him. The wall charge comes out. Kuko gets one, immediately shut down by Tommy. Rhodes gets one of his own. Lando and Crunchberry, though, they equalize things out. 2v2, Lando's extremely low in HP, and Jad has the auto. There we go. He finds one. Can he make two? Yes, he can. Yakuza take the lead again.
Yeah, and there's the big problem with that exact push is not only just the pressure in kitchen, but you can maybe go on a flank by Hall if no one's watching that, which was correct. Lin dying outside, that was the only potential flank watch there. Everyone else just fell into sight, and yeah, it was just basically a kill box on Kill House, funny enough. So yeah, that's why the double charge play normally does not work, like I said, unless you find those first two opening picks and maybe if you want to go for a counter wall bang. But the team play there by YY was incredibly strong to stop that double charge play. And now the offense of LCG are not only down two pieces of destruction, like the door and wall charge, they're also down a clacker, because we did hear YY pick it up and just start spamming left click with it too.
Yeah. The one thing that I want to say about previous map before we tend to this bank at hand is that I really didn't expect LCG to just wallbang into kitchen on the same angle that Ghetto got the kill from, and that's why I thought he would be wallbanging from above down below into the hallway, and I was like, oh, this is actually really smart. He's gonna avoid all of the wallbangs coming out from LCG, but LCG, they just blew the red doors and they sprinted in. They weren't expecting anyone to shoot back at them, I guess. So it ended up working out for Ghetto. Nice quick N3 there, but we should really look at the bank at hand because the planning phase is almost over. And it's a very vertical one, right? This lobby is essentially half of the map, just under half of the map. The button is also very close to it. You can get to it from lobby because it is in tellers. So getting control of lobby may be a little bit of a problem because you can be swung from the hallway. Someone can be in security or playing close to security, revolving door, so they can just fall back. You can have someone on the pillar. There's just a lot of good position for defenders to swing from. But if you get control of lobby, you also got control of tellers pretty much. You can just hold off these doors. And, well, then you got button. And once you get button, you also have vault very easily. You can push through into security. There's probably going to be some utility there, even someone playing. Or you could push around, go to manager, which also would end up working out. But in my opinion, just funneling through security and going for that may be a little bit better because you don't need to clear the upper half of the map if you do that.
Say the one thing I honestly don't mind actually going for a manager take here instead, because you have to deal with less pressure of the mob normally when you go for that. But if you're not very coordinated with your flashes, then yeah, counting can be quite challenging. So it's more or less kind of, you know, what you're willing to have to deal with, whether it be someone playing close into counting with like a knack/auto, or if you want to deal with someone playing with a mop. We don't have a mop in play though, it's only Jet with the Ingmar, and he's gonna die off the bat. So that first pick going to LCG, they've already got some good map control, but they still need to fully flush out lobby. Ghetto now falls Toxic, pardon, with a big 2K, and Tommy has to really think about if he wants to go for that aggressive swing or just wait near the green door. Looks like he'll opt for the latter. Chrome Trigger kind of getting hassled by Toxic right now. He cannot fall back into Vault until the button gets hit, so most likely they're going to want to deal with Chrome Trigger first and foremost, as it's just one player isolated in the middle of security, and once that happens, it's just down to a 1 versus 3 with LCG in a phenomenal position.
I also like the fact that Admiral is just trusting his teammates enough to kind of watch towards Stellars. Well, not anymore, but at least he was for quite a long time. The problem there with the security push is that there is no more. There you go. They finally picked up one. They got him. Toxic gets the third one on the round. It's all up to the Tommy to clutch this one out. And well, they didn't have to push him because the button is right next to him. He finds the first one, but takes actually no damage in return. He still has a molly in pocket, but he, I guess, decides he'll just hold the vault instead. Again, it is a vault with double doors, so even if they push in security, he can just make it in manager. The button should get pressed any second now, and there is only 40 seconds left on the clock. Tommy sprints back towards Stellars, tries and plays for the kick there, but no one will push him just yet. The vault is open now. He really needs to play this carefully. He still has a molly, which again is 10 seconds to deny. Still 2 whole AK max. He hasn't reloaded. It's only 16 bullets. And there we go. Molly comes out, but it may be too little too late as Toxic makes them to wall. He can't reach in the bomb, but he actually gets fried by Tommy. Can Admiral clutch this one out? He has the Saber, which is not favorable against a short AK up close and personal. But somehow, some way, both parties are just missing their shots. Admiral very low on HP. One shot, I think, will take him out of contention.
There we have it. Tommy's going to keep that one in the bag.
He's gonna put that one on his
And the
resume.
nade. Oh my. I'm gonna put that on my resume. And he kept clacker. That's huge. That is actually huge because they did not have a clacker for next round. But I don't think they had a breach either because they went lobby. So yeah, they didn't actually need to keep clacker. My mistake. But they probably didn't think about that either. They're like, oh guys, clacker. And they're like, oh wait, we charged already the first 2 rounds. We only have one more left in the tank. But that's okay. Great isolation as well. At first, it looked like
Mhm.
the molly wouldn't have been that helpful for Tommy, but now he only has to worry about that one long angle. And funny enough, the Saber player, I think it was Admiral, wasn't
Yeah.
actually watching that one long way. So Tommy got mildly lucky, but also the inadvertent molly paid off relatively well because again, he only had to worry about one sightline as well. So good job by Tommy to just pick the 1-for-1s at the literal perfect second. And now we're heading into C-Store with a completely different setup with at least this red door, I feel like being kind of awkward. I don't really know what the best option for the offense would really be. I mean, they have to go through free, but if we were looking at this from like if they have plenty of charges to use, I don't even know what a good charge play besides storefront might possibly be in like maybe freezer.
I would like a freezer play. It
Yeah.
is a little bit of a funnel, so you do need to use your nades, your flashes very carefully. But if you do that, you can establish control. There's a lot of like longer sidelines that you can just kind of hold throughout the map. And well, it is
Hmm.
hard pushing out a freezer, but it does kind of give you a vantage point for maybe like 2 members of your team to just kind of hold a lot of those angles, and they can just kind of help lock down the rest of the map while the rest of your forces either push through storefront if they had the double breach or storage if they ecoed it. But like you said, there's no charges and no clackers in place of the attackers anyway, so it's gonna be a storage push. And well, I'm sure Yakuza are aware of all of that. Look at those barbs just placed on storage, on both doors actually, on fridges. They're just getting ready for all of those possible wall bangs because they know they can just keep them at bay. It's such a bad map to eco on, I feel like here, and sadly LCG have to funnel through it. And if I'm gonna
Hmm.
say when, I'm not even gonna say if, when Yakuza win this round, we're in match point.
Well, very bold statement, but you have some pretty good evidence to back it up. You didn't just say, I made it up. That's my resources to seeing how YY could win this. No, like you mentioned, they've got to funnel so heavily into storage, and YY are playing into that strength very well. They've got multiple long angles. They could play all the way in the back of storefront, what Jet is actually doing, as you highlighted, Boxy. But moving back into storage, yeah, it's going to be a very long and challenging clear to get done, despite the fact we have a lot of utility here. In the pocket of LCG, I think the biggest concern for them is just where they want to push them, whether it be fridges or the back area of offices, because they only have one nade, yet 2 barbed wire to deal with. So it's a very risky decision to make here, as you already have lost Toxic.
Yeah, I do not like the fact. First of all, I expected way more aggressiveness coming out from Yakuza. Yeah, they did get two frag, but I still expect them to do more. And there we go. Everyone just funneled through the barb and storage without actually using the nade for. The Chrome and Auto will get shot down. Roach also has. Actually, no, Roach is still alive. That's on me. Somehow Yakuza are getting all the kills as well from Lando, and everyone's clutch it up 1 AP with the Vector and Black Tower in hand. And it's not going well for them. They do have a lot of flashes left in their pockets. The Molly is going to temporarily put the attack on stall. And Yadow's getting kind of aggressive there outside of Teller's Jet to back him up. So is Tommy. They're all really closely convoluted together. Lando will fall though, and Admiral has to refrag, but I think he just gets put out by Jet. There we go. He may not be a sniper, but he will destroy you the Savior.
Yeah, that was the big problem there that like you and I had mentioned for LCG is the fact that it's just whether they want to swallow their pride and go offense or swallow their pride and go fridges. And their nade wasn't even used to break the barbed wire. Either they never tossed out a grenade because Toxic had it, but I don't
I
think that
didn't
was
see it.
true. Yeah, they had a grenade, so you didn't see it blow up at all, Boxy?
No, I didn't see it blow, but I
So
was focusing on other stuff, so.
oh, well, we would have at least heard it. I don't recall fully hearing it. So maybe it was just never picked up from Toxic's body if he was the one who had it. Either that or it was thrown out way too far from the barbed wire. So they could never go for a double prong attack outside of storage. They had to just funnel into the auto and saber player eventually. So that was just a recipe for disaster there for LCG. They're looking at match point now for at least the first set in this best of 1 series or best of
Yeah.
3. I was thinking a best of 3, but the
That is
first
best of
match, sorry, it's a little long day. So
Yeah.
that's
The
that's my
one thing
excuse. But you can go ahead, Matt. You can go ahead. That's on
The
me.
one thing that I want to complain about last round is that I expected Yakuza to be way more aggressive on their storage hold because again they knew where everyone from LCG had to funnel and they could have just held it down. The barbed wire placements, they were nice. They had a lot of like high penetration weapons around it, the next the AKs, and I really expected more out of that aggression, but none really came out besides the entry kill from I believe it was Roach. And the problem with that hold and the way that they were more passive than I thought they would be is the fact that they had no barb and no other utility placed on the map past storage, meaning that if LCG actually pushed through storage and they weren't really contested, they could have taken a lot of map control really fast. So it almost went wrong for Yakuza, but they salvaged it, and well, it is a 6-3. They have a decisive lead now, so even if they don't end up winning this kill house, which they very likely could, they still have quite a nice cushion advantage in which they can try and close out the game.
Yep. Well, sorry, I had to go into have a quick
Mm.
conversation with somebody. So that
Oh,
explains the
are you,
dead silence.
are you
I
cheating on me?
was letting you. No, no, of course not. Why would I have that happen? Well, we almost had a mop peek happen by Lind actually, but he didn't find anything there, and it looks like Kuko found a bunch of bullets. So that was not good. Oh, and that is why you late bar because Lind cannot walk through that in a timely manner and still stay alive. At least Kuko has picked up the mop, but I think it has only one bullet, and Kuko only has 2 health as well. So this is already not a good position for LCG, Matt. I mean, we talked about how YY has a very good likelihood of winning this, but I didn't feel like it would be to this degree. Kuko gets isolated. He didn't want to fall back to Brick House to hold that long angle into Breezeway. A very, very bad decision. Toxic has to get aggressive now. He may find one, but he needed way more than just that single pick in this 3 versus 1. Now a 2 versus 1, though. Admiral may find one, but he isn't in a fantastic position to hold out. Ghetto could theoretically throw a molly, and in fact, he will do that. So now Admiral cannot walk out to try to help against this bomb defuse. He could maybe go for a wall bang, but that's a tricky angle. And as the nade gets tossed out, that will be the final bell that tolls, Matt, and 7-3 will be our scoreline for YY in their first match.
Well, it was a pretty decisive one. I think more decisive than we would have expected. Again, especially after seeing LCG play together. But while you were playing that amazingly, I did check the Twitch chat, and I do see that 87% of the channel points were actually bad on Yakuza. Only 13 went to LCG. So I guess the community, well, they kind of predicted it better than we did. They expected a pretty decisive Yakuza win, excuse me. But again, LCG aren't done yet. This is a best of 3. They still have a whole game to go. They need to either draw it and then win the third one, or just straight up win the second one to keep themselves in contention. And I think we're gonna throw it to a 5-minute break unless I have any closing
Mm-hmm.
thoughts on this game specifically. We're gonna be right back. The players need a 5-minute break. So there we go. We came back to cams for just a second so you can see fella's beautiful face. And I'm gonna go grill fella why he's cheating on me in the 5-minute break. So catch you later.
All right, and we're back, folks, here with the upper, not the lower bracket, the upper bracket
Proud
here,
of you.
the upper division, technically, I should say. It's weird because we called it like upper bracket during like the whole normal season, and now in playoffs we cannot say that. But it's the good division, the gooder division, and then the lesser good division was played earlier. How's that sound? That I think that sounds pretty good to me. But yeah,
Lesser
YY
good. Wow.
LCG, the lesser bestest. Yeah, yeah.
Lesser
English, great.
bestest.
First language, by the way, for me. Anyways, LCG, YY already saw a match go in the favor of YY, and now it's another one, at least for them, to get this in the bag. We still could see LCG come back, perhaps, because they did have a couple of strong rounds, but funny enough, in comparison to probably what we saw last time they were on stream, I feel like they aren't doing as well in comparison to, funny enough, I keep referencing their GB match, but that is something I actually did get the time to watch because it was an hour before my call time. So I got to watch a lot of it being done. And, you killed it on the casting booth with Revenant, and LCG were kind of killing it too for a good moment as well. And then they just kind of dropped the bag. But I feel like they haven't even had the time to drop the bag yet, Matt, here in this match.
You're making me blush. Don't do that. Don't do that. Also, I think my light is kind of messing
Had
with
to
me. I
make it
look like
up
a
for
ghost. Oh,
almost
there we go.
cheating on you like 2
Almost
minutes
cheating on
ago.
me. Okay, well, you get away with it this time, but that's all you get. That's all you get. That's it.
That's my
No,
warning.
no more second chances. That's it. There will not be a third strike. Chad, you are my witness. If he cheats on me again, we're gonna have a problem. But let's get our attention onto the kill dump we're about to play. It's gonna be Hammer Bishop, and it's one of these very weird, convoluted kill dumps once again, where it's like whatever you end up attacking is like kind of Mickey. Even I want to say, I do expect to see a castle breach here, but also just the full eco. I think could be on the table, especially from the markings that we have seen come out from Yakuza, who, if you haven't seen yet, they are on attack. LCG will be defending again. And the announcer is already yelling, "Are you ready, fellow? Are you ready?"
I am most definitely ready. Had to go do a little bit of drawing communication there with the higher ups. One of the big things about this set in particular is how strong Castle is. That's always one of my favorite instances of Killdome, is probably getting to see a good Castle. So a lot of teams like to go for a 3-2 split where they try to clear out Castle with a good emphasis. But as of right now, it looks to be a full green by the side of YY, so they don't really want to extend their cards out just yet. They do have a grenade. They can still deal with barbed wire. Maybe if there was one placed right here, they could get easy access to the top of ruins, but maybe they'll just save it for later. And honestly, they could maybe try to go for a kill with it, perhaps, because there aren't a lot of barbed wires here that can be used for a proper funnel besides this one in the middle of pit. But the only person who's holding that is Lin, and he's not even in a good spot to do that, Matt.
But Lin hasn't been cleared out yet. There's been a bunch of utility already thrown in. Well, the lights will be pulled any second here now, I assume. But no one has cleared out Lin yet. There we go. Flash finally flies in. Lin will be flashed. The lights will be pulled, but not for long. So there could be at least one kill. But sadly, Lin looks the wrong way, gets taken out early on. And that's the second kill for Yakuza here. 2 of the 3 players are playing either in castle or right underneath it, with the last one being Lando, just there at the top of, well, I think I'm going to call it a jungle, even though it's not explicitly said in the game. Jet, though, will push out Lando, who's just hiding there in the corner, and I'm not sure if they know Lando's there, so that could be quite devastating, especially if Roach ends up falling to a Toxic to take care of Jet, so Lando didn't have to get a 10-30 there. But again, a nice swing from Lando there could really turn the tides in, especially against Roach, who just picked up the Saber. Meanwhile, though, Chrome gets 1 onto Kuko. Can he make it 2? Nope. Lando will waste Roach, get a 1 with the mob shot onto Toxic. Actually, it wasn't a mob shot. The mob shot missed, or killed. That's Ghetto. I'm sorry. But, regardless, the last defender gets taken out, and it's Ghetto with 2 in a round, Chrome with 2 in a round, and Jet with, well, 1. Pretty clear entry.
I'd have to say, yeah, the one thing I was talking a lot, especially when I was watching like the Moss game with you guys, is sometimes the lack of team play. Lin's drawing that right now. He was the only guy holding pit. No one was up here playing for this swing to have that double attack leading through pit. We didn't have that happen. It was just everyone heavily by themselves, except for the people inside of Castle. And you don't need to have like a bunch of people here directly in Castle unless they are going for a Castle clear. So at some point, we should have seen a rotation, maybe someone trying to get extra aggressive to help out anybody that wasn't going through pit, perhaps. That way they could maybe go for a flank later on. But that never was established by LCG. So the fact that YY simply could play the number game most of that round and having lights as well, as they were turned off at a pretty good time for them too, it was just too much for LCG to deal with all at the same time. And it felt like they were really harping on having a castle clear. And when that didn't happen, their defense just kind of fell flat.
I'm wondering what the time is to get really critical of LCG again. I've been very hopeful after their yesterday's match. Rev and I were talking about why LCG seemed to just kind of falter and shut themselves down later on in the match against GB, when they really could have taken at least another map. I think we easily could have gone to overtime yesterday, especially like I said, since GB was playing with those subs. And Revan and I, we came to the conclusion that I think LCG just kind of were overwhelmed with the possibilities of beating GB. I don't think they were expecting that going into the match, and when they were so close, I think they were just like, it was in their head, oh my god, we gotta beat GB, we gotta beat GB, we gotta beat GB, and that was their downfall. They weren't playing their own game, they were trying to specifically beat GB, if that makes sense. But I honestly don't know what LCG excuse is or could be today, because, well, Yakuza, yeah, they are a good team, but at the same time, they're nowhere close to GB, at least not at the moment, and this should have been a way more even match, especially with how LCG played yesterday. So, at this point, I may become an LCG critiquer again. I don't know. criticizer. There we go.
Well, the one thing about this Kill Dome set is how annoying it is to deal with ramp in the back of hallway. This is just a whole choke point. We have seen teams implement just keeping this door open as well, so we can have somebody just swing like this and go for a wall bang. And it also helps out the player in hall as well, because it's even more challenging to actually spot them. You have to go for a very risky wall bang, especially against a mop. You're asking it to get killed in some degree, whether it be by a mop player or by somebody else who's playing for that swing. There is no mop this round, of course, because they had it last round and lost. But, I mean, there's still plenty of wallbang potential and a lot of damage that can be done. And for the most part here, by the offensive side of YY, it looks like they're going for a 3-2 split with getting backstage opened up. And then I believe having the rest of their green players help out both A, inside of club, and B, maybe late rotating into office to have that multi-approach. But again, having that ramp pressure here, it would be very challenging to actually get any office pressure. But oh no. We already have the auto dead box. This is already not a good start for LCG.
Toxic was absolutely relentless with the auto yesterday, and again, he just can't seem to be doing anything against Yakuza here. I do remember someone from GB telling me about how good Yakuza are in wallbangs. They really narrowed it down to a complete science. So, well, I would at least assume that, you know, kill house goes well for them. A bunch of kills coming out for them. Too as for one down. Again, it's too little, too late. Lin is alone at 1v4. He finds one, make that two actually. So it's all up to Roach and Jet to clutch this one out, and Jet is gonna find the kill onto Lin, no problem. Defuse the bomb in just a second, but look at all these dead bodies. There's definitely something lootable here. There's still a whole round to go. And I do want to say, I do like the fact that Yakuza rather, sorry, they saved them round 1 on Dome because they knew that both Kill House and C-Store were coming up, and both of those are good double blow maps. So we will be seeing the double blow next round, I'm pretty sure.
Wondering how much ammo Jet has. I currently have him spectated to see if he pulls out the auto.
No.
What? They brought both
clips?
What?
Toxic!
Oh my, no.
That's a toxic moment.
He's got 37 bullets.
That's a toxic moment.
Oh, that's not good. Also, 2 mollies and a barb. It's very hard to like utilize a barb as an attacker properly without already clearing out at least like half the map. But if you want to get creative, it can work, especially as like your own audible flank watch too. That's like a really fun interaction, is still having to worry about those barbed wires as a defender. And if an attacker has it and they can use that for a flank watch, they can have more of a presence inside of the actual bomb site. But
And
2 mollies,
thing,
that is that's a lot of areas denied for defenders to once again have a good rotate, kind of like the barbed wire, but just more effective.
Another thing that I'm pretty sure you could do, especially on this map, is go outside and place the barb to clip through the wall, and you could like have it block off this rotate, for example, if you don't want, you know, defenders rotating through that throughout the round. So I'm not sure if the barb clipping through the wall would cover the entire doorway, but I think it would be close enough for it to even be worth it if you really wanted to have at least not able to going through that freezer rotate. So I do hope the fact that we see that. I know it's very unlikely, but you know, never say never.
Funny enough, we were trying this angle out in our matchup here with the Moss Munchers. This is a very good angle. If you kick this green door, put a barb on it instantly, you can look into this green shed door. Now you can't hold it directly next to the shelf. You kind of have to be more like right here where this drawing is. But it's still a good angle to hold. The only problem is if they go shutter and they like throw a smoke here, for example, and just like spam flash, you are dead. And we know that. You personally and me.
You said that like you've seen it happen before.
I did, yeah. You got rocked, but also traded, so it's okay.
I did get rocked. Well,
but
it is what it is. Someone needs to be the entry.
Yeah, also we saw this exact same charge set too, on the C store when you were playing Moss Munchers.
That I actually didn't know because well I wasn't on the map that early on. But I do want to see if we potentially even see Lights play again. I think it's quite unlikely, but at the end of the day, why not? It is 2-0 for Yakuza, and I don't want to see. Let's just check if they ended up bringing the NVGs. Yes, they did, in fact. I think it's one of those rounds where you bring NVGs without an explicit plan to go for lights, but if you find yourself anywhere close to freezer, might as well go pull the lever. I don't think they will, you know, make it their mission, go out of their way to get to that switch, but still, it is what it is. The breach hasn't come out yet, but the molly has already been wasted, so that's a pretty big mishap from the side of LCG. What are you laughing at?
It's through Molly and the wall didn't even get open. Oh,
okay. I thought it would
oh
be the
no.
rest miss. Anyways, gotta get the entry. Lin follows up with one Jet. Quickly gets Kuko and then Lando. Gallant's full apart for LCG. Only up to Admiral and Lin, and make that just Admiral. He's alone on a 1v4. Jet low on HP. Tommy, well, he's low as well. It doesn't matter. Roach finds the last kill, and it's a perfect set on attack.
You know, back in World War I, they used to call the shotguns, you know, pretty good trench clearers. I guess we can actually say that they're also good teller clearers too, because Jet with that full auto, man, that was a living nightmare there for the defense of LCG. They just could not stop this train from rushing in and dealing so much damage too. And also, not to mention that Ghetto just walked through a molly, killed the guy in Delhi. And at that point, you have just Freezer, and you're going to have to deal with both people directly in storefront looking through Freezer and somebody going in through like the storage area as well. I think that was the call out there in the back right. So yeah, all right, thank you, Matt. So there was not a lot left for the defense once they already had Teller completely swept out because of that full auto.
I think someone needs to make the meme of like, you know, the Drake when he says no on like the Hotline Bing meme when he goes no and it's like Jet with sniper, and then the yes is Jet with 37 auto shotty bullets.
Yeah, Jet with full auto. And then reference that clip as well too. Very very funny.
Very funny, very funny. Trust
Yes.
DPL Twitter content, which
Hmm.
we should start putting out sometime soon. But we'll
This
see how
stuff
that
does
goes.
in fact write itself. We
We
just did that.
True. The storylines they do create themselves, especially when you have such a funny co-caster that definitely doesn't cheat when you have the time. We're back on Hammer Bishop though. Yeah.
Wondering what this is. Oh, Far Cry? Far Cry?
Yesterday,
I'm down.
Kuko was literally. I know you said you were watching the match, but yeah, yesterday, Kuko games 1 and 3, he was constantly writing about CS. He was always like, "Want to play CS? I don't want to play this bet game. I want to play CS. I want to play CS. I want to play CS." Like every round, he wrote that, and Rev and I were just like, "Oh my god."
CS? CS? I am actually someone who does not like the game because I never played it forever ago,
Hmm.
and yeah, did not grow up on PC, so I never got into the game.
You
And
haven't grown up at all yet. You're
look at
like,
this,
okay.
we are going back to camp soon, so that's good.
Mm. Okay. Well,
Um,
I hope the stream didn't miss me bullying LCG, because if they did, I'll have to say it again, and it won't be as organic. Regardless, though, Storefront Breach coming out early on, and Molly will try and deny it, but it goes just shallow, way too left. And if anyone wants, they can definitely walk through there. Look at Chrome Trigger, though. Not only he's playing
got a
close
grenade.
with the AP, he has a grenade. Darling, I'd catch a grenade for you, says Bruno Mars. Let's see how many people from LCG catch that grenade. It goes in. Lin will somehow make it alive. Yeah, he's actually alive. He lost about 50 HP there. More like 70, but, well, he's still up. He's still kicking. Jet, Ghetto, both playing in towers behind those bulletproof windows. Lando gets a kill onto Roach and then pushes in. Tommy's going to be the second one to fall there. And Chrome, well, he's still alive, at least for now, but he needs to start getting kills. He's being pinched and he needs to fall back. There you go. He's in storage, but he doesn't know if someone's in Freezer.
Oof.
Yes, he does. He takes them out. Toxic back fridge just pushes into Freezer. And he takes out Chrome finally. Now Tox is getting pushed out. It's a 1v2. Jet gets aggressive and actually gets punished for it. It's a 1v1. Ghetto versus Toxic. Toxic is extremely low on HP, but if he wins this round somehow against the full HP Ghetto on the neck, well, then he will hold off match point and serious point for at least a little bit longer. But no, Ghetto with the LS in hand. He will shut down Toxic and he will push Yakuza over to match point. We are actually nearing a 7-0. And first of all, EK, my beloved, I need you to turn on our virtual camera so we can see when we're on cam as we're on game. Thank you very much. Second of all, I don't know if you guys heard it. I think we were crashed at the time, but I said, if LCG don't win this, if LCG don't win a single round in game 2, if they go 7-0, we will forever claim that LCG stands for literally cannot game or literally can get around. One of the two.
Mm. Little patent. We'll have to add that too. We'll trademark it. That way, LCG cannot even own their own abbreviation of their name.
Hmm.
Anyways, back onto that last round. Having Ghetto just find that small opening near the bomb chassis just to walk into the storefront was pretty hilarious. Out of all the places to check, you would think having your Saber player just watching down through storefront would have been necessary, but no, I guess that was not an option there for the attacking side, and it cost them greatly because Ghetto single-handedly getting those 2 picks and then having full HP still, yeah, that's even the funnier part. He didn't get shot at all while running into storefront against everybody. So being on full health in that 1v1 really did pay dividends. And also having people like Chrome Trigger, for example, and I think it was Roach as well that did a bit of action too that were able to keep their team alive. That was also pretty solid too. But
John,
Bank now. This
I'm
is interesting.
not gonna
Intriguing?
lie to you. I just watched
Yes.
you on the face cams for 20 seconds. Watching this game, I have no clue how you've kept a smile on your face because, well, I'm shedding tears. I know it's you versus you,
I love
but
what I do.
watching one of the EU teams get demolished this badly, even if it is by another EU team, is just breaking my heart. And, well, literally, Kent game, they're very close to actually be given that title because 6-0. They're so close to the 7-0. We have seen comebacks better than that before, but I honestly don't think LCG have it in them. I think they gave everything they had yesterday in their GB match once they saw how actual there was a chance of them winning it. But when they fell short, I think Manhole was shattered. They're just like, okay, GG, go next season, and this is it. Doesn't matter. They will probably finish fourth, and that's fine. They get a cut of the prize pool, and more importantly, their spot is still safe. They weren't fifth or sixth in the league. Okay, they don't get a prize pool. I've just been informed it's just for the first 3 spots, I guess. But regardless, at least their upper league spot is safe. You know, it was Gnomes and Rise. By the way, Rise only won 2 rounds in the entire regular season. I just wanted to point that out because, well, I love bullying Rise a little bit, but it's from a place of love. Regardless, their spot is safe for next season. They have nothing to fear about, and they can put in as much practice as they want to maybe contest GB and other upper league games come next season.
Are they going to let Crumb get away with this? Oh, yes, they most certainly
Apparently.
are. He cannot fall back, but he got his one, and Ghetto could most certainly trade once he doesn't have to worry about lobby anymore, which is, for the most part, right about now. He could honestly rotate around and honestly just kind of remain a bit passive, perhaps.
Oh.
It's still that 4 versus 4 with no headway being made. Lin will get caught in the barb and hallway and now die to Ghetto, as still, everyone's kind of left outside of the building besides Kuko. He may have 2 flashes, but trying to clear out security by yourself could be problematic. All that Jet has to do is swing, but Kuko still wins that gunfight, a very important one as well, to now equalize things greatly. Security, no longer a problem. You've got that entire half of the map now in your pocket, but once you hit that button, you need to worry about all of accounting and still Teller, because Ghetto is sitting here quite patiently. A smoke, though, will cost a lot of his line of sight, but he can still get rid of Kuko, perhaps, and that will be fact of matter. Lando now pushing through the smoke, has to worry about a molly here. Admiral needs to win this fight against Ghetto, but simply cannot. He has to fall back on the reload, allowing Lando to die. It's just Admiral Crunchberry, now in a 1 versus 3, still needing to worry about that Teller pressure, and just cannot manage to land these shots at all. 45 HP, 2 more bullets with this AK could be the trick. Ghetto may die, but Roach is there with the refrag, with the Yingmar, and there we have it. 7-0 for YY to end out their second match, 2-0.
Well, literally Kent game. Strike again. And again, I do love the boys in LCG. Just a little bit of friendly banter. But I would be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed, Joe, and I expected so much more from them throughout this round. I don't know. They've played well yesterday. They went 7-2 against Gnomes, if I'm not mistaken, throughout regular season. I really thought that they had more in store for us, but they ended up falling quite a great distance, or quite a great height. I don't know where I was going with this. I was gonna say they fell short, but then yeah,
I had a way to
kind of
describe it too, and then
real
honestly,
short.
it instantly went out of
It,
my
it
head, and I was like,
ends up
"Oh,
not
don't worry,
working.
Boxy, I got you." And then I was like, "Oh wait, no,
No,
never mind." I was
um,
ending my virtual cam, and I just got sidetracked, so that's on me. But
well, it is what
that
it
is
is.
it. Yeah.
That's a boxy moment. Well, I mean,
Oh
we're
well.
done with the matches for the day. We can banter for a few more minutes. I don't know. What are your predictions? Again, I'm not sure if LCG versus Global Breakout will be played out. There are discussions about it still in the staff chat. Technically, Bingus did have to forfeit, so there is that. But in case the match ends up being played out, what do you think happens? Who do you think wins?
Did you say GB versus LCG again?
Sorry, GB versus Bingus. Excuse me.
Oh,
Correct
okay.
myself.
That's what I thought it was. All right. Thank you
Yeah,
for
yeah.
clearing that for me. That's a good relief. I was like, wait a minute, they're playing again? That really threw me
Rematch.
through a ruckus there. Yeah, that'd be a pretty fun rematch, especially with still all the subs for GB. Um, I don't know because I'm not fully aware if we've had Bingus actually scrim GB a lot, and also if
We did.
Bingus are going to be able to. Okay, that's nice. But for Bingus, if they even have their full roster that day as well, because there was the forfeit of being on the chopping block here for them. I think Gravy is still doing a bunch of guard stuff, so they don't have Gravy, who is probably one of the most vocal players there for their team.
Gravy did play
Yeah.
yesterday, by the way.
Okay, then maybe
Gravy
I'm
did play
actually
yesterday.
wrong on my old sources. This was like the last 2 weeks ago problem kinda thing, so
Quite
I could
back,
most
your
definitely be
opinion
wrong.
is whack. Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
yeah.
I still love you. You're lucky. You're cute. But I don't know. I said this in the DPL recap. I really thought that, during the regular season, the GB versus Bingus match was the one to look out for. I really felt like that was going to be the
Yep.
match of the season. And then Bingus ended up forfeiting. And now they were set to play in the playoffs in the upper bracket. And again, Bingus just ended up forfeiting, most likely. So my heart aches because I really think that they could give GB a run for their money. Bingus has an extremely stacked roster. And yes, GB, they're also great. But it's been a while since we've had such a strong and a serious contender for that first spot in DPL, and the fact that the same match got forfeited and canceled twice in the same season, once regular, once playoffs, is just because I really wish we could have seen that.
Yeah, me too. Well, maybe we will get, lucky and not have that game be a forfeit, but until then, we remain in potential infamy as we have to end the stream and wait to see that Bingus game unfold another time. I've been Phil, joined here by Boxy and also EK up in the booth behind us as well, saying yeah, yeah every now and again and having to restart his PC as well. But all that being said, hope you all have a great rest of your night and to see you all again very, very
Check
soon for some
our
more due
Twitters.
process action. And yeah, check out our
Check
Twitters too.
our
That
check our
would be
Twitters.
nice.
Yes.
They
Yes.
are there. You can in fact do that.
Do it.
I didn't think it was necessary because they are right there. But in case you don't know how to read like me, then yeah, just the the audible reminder. Check out our Twitters as well. Have a good night, everybody.